Grazie a Dio che ha detto che io sono politico perché sia dove sia e non fare ponti non è cristiano. Quest'uomo non è cristiano, si dice questo così. E che sono una pedina, ma forse, non so.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
The establishment is definitely afraid of Donald Trump. Never before have we seen in the same week a U.S. sitting president and the biggest Christian religious leader in the world with over 1 billion followers criticize a presidential candidate. But just when I thought I'd seen it all, it happened. Since last year, when the Pope started calling for us to open our borders up and started saying that we were racist and evil for not doing it, I pointed out that even the New York Times admits Mexico has one of the strictest southern borders with Guatemala in the world, and upwards of a year in prison, forced labor, if they catch you trying to sneak in. So I said, why do we have to be wide open? And then once people get here, put them on welfare and make them collectivist Bernie Sanders voters. And then when I traveled to Rome last year and actually saw the 200-foot plus walls, on average over 90 feet, it blew me away around Vatican City, which they say themselves in the tours is the oldest sovereign nation, tax exempt, above the law in the world. And we pointed out it has armed guards, the Swiss guards, its own protective details. A few hundred yards in front of it is a huge armored fortress castle that also protects it, and it's where the Swiss guards stay. And all we were saying is, hey, Mexico has borders. Hey, other countries have borders. Saudi Arabia hasn't taken one Muslim refugee from Syria, but wants us to take more. And the Pope doesn't criticize Italy controlling its borders. The Pope doesn't, say get rid of their walls. And how did the New York Times and countless other papers respond? Hey, people, you're wrong again. It isn't a walled city. And they pointed out that there's an open square. The wall's cut in. There's a big open square with the famous obelisk brought there from Egypt, and that you can come there and basically worship the Pope or whatever. I've been there. I've seen it. It's giant walls with huge 50-foot iron doors and armed guards. It's just a concave area that lets you come in, but you're still without the walls. So it gives you that feeling of being in it, but you're not, and that's how they deceive you. So let's look at this map for ourselves. The only area open is this square to the rest of Rome, open to the sovereign city of the Vatican, Vatican City, to the public. But when you then look here, this is all an internal wall, and there are giant iron doors 50 feet tall before you enter the actual church. And then there are giant walls that have been there since the 800s when the Muslims invaded hundreds of times. But what they do is they deceive people and say, look, Donald Trump's people put out this map online showing the walls. And then they show the wall out here, which you see is open to the public to come in to the gates of the walls, feel like they're inside the church, but they're not. It's a holding area open. These are walls, just decorative. Big steel doors, armed guards. The Pope comes out on a balcony and talks to people. Then at night, they have big steel fences they put up and close off. And you try to even approach it, police cars pull up, like when we were there. But this is an internal area for folks to come in, but it's within the walls. As you can see, this is open. So the map they put out had this mistake. But they're saying, oh, there are no walls. No, there are huge walls and steel doors. And it continues here as you enter the church and other areas. Huge lines, sometimes 10 hours. We experienced it to get inside of this most famous of all walled cities that claims it's the oldest sovereign state in the world, doesn't pay taxes, doesn't take immigrants in, does whatever it wants, but is lecturing us, and now in the New York Times and everywhere else, lying to the public. And no wonder this new pope that wants us to take all these radical Islamists into Europe and into the U.S. wants us to get rid of our walls, but not his walls. I know that Donald Trump follows InfoWars some, and I would like to encourage him to double down. He's got a great private jet, to jump on it, to fly over to Italy, and to go up there with a camera crew and point out that the walls are there, and to try to go walk right through the front entrance at those big 50-foot steel doors and have them turn him away. And just in their face document that he told the truth and he pointed out the common sense. It's okay for all these other countries to have borders and to have fences. We even pay in Iraq and Afghanistan to build them walls and fences. But we can't control our sovereignty. If you don't have borders, then you're not even citizens. If anybody could just walk in and get everything for free, that makes citizens slaves of the folks that have come in. They pitch it like it's racist not to take unlimited people in from the world and then give them a free ride. This is the ultimate political correctness psyop.